I love me some age gap BL romance, and I have made so many videos talking about the younger top, older bottom trope, but I've never really made a video talking about the older top and younger bottoms. In yaoi terms, we are talking about the classic semi-UK dynamic. In yaoi, a semi or the top is usually taller, older, and more dominant one in the relationship, while the UK or the bottom is usually younger and smaller in physique. The BL climate is evolving day by day and the fans are evolving too, but it's fun when in between all the evolution we get to experience some classic tropes too. So in this video, let's chat about my 10 favorite young romance BLs. Now here we have possibly the biggest age gap we have seen in BLs. Tong is not even 20 years old yet. He's 19 and Mark the vampire is more than 200 years old. For 200 years, his skin is looking pretty tight and bouncy. I will need his injector's number urgently. It's pretty crazy to see that Mark has seen Tong grow up from a baby to an adult and now his feelings are turning romantic and he's starting to see Tong as a man and not just a human with powerful golden blood. It also helps that Tong looks insanely pretty with his chiseled face and light brown eyes. Mark could really be Tong's grand-uncle, but if he's really this hot, then what does it matter? 20-year-old Tong possesses rare golden blood, irresistibly attracting vampires despite warnings of hemophilia. While serving at an event for best friend Tongkla, he meets Mark, a true 100-year-old heir. After an accident awakens vampires, Mark must protect Tong from dangerous hunger. Time is a resident surgeon at a hospital while Great is a business student probably in the second or third year of university. So naturally the age gap between them is upwards of 4 to 5 years. In reality, the way Time and Great met was less than ideal. It was a one-night stand that turned into revenge con situation. Revenge from Great's dad and not Great himself, but it was still something really shitty. But Great was so love-starved that he still wanted Time even after knowing what he did. I think Time and Great are two traumatized individuals who found each other when the timing wasn't right, but it also led them to have a beautiful life together. So in the end, who really won, huh? Time and Great, obviously. Great, a business student and heir to a wealthy family, suddenly gains the ability to see 4 minutes into the future. Using his power to change events, he crosses paths with Time, a resident surgeon, sparking a growing and fateful connection. Please welcome another depressed vampire in the yaoi fantasy club, and it's Kim Juno, who is at least 100 years old and falls devastatingly in love with a pure-blooded human, Minyoon, who is a college student in his early 20s. Someone needs to tell me what Kim Juno had been smoking in the entire series cause his eyes were always so bloodshot red, as if he was snorting blood up his nose and it went into his eyes. But I really do understand why Kim Juno was so obsessed with Minhyun. He is so freaking cute, look at him, he's so precious. This series also gave us the first proper kiss scene in Korean BLs, and that's also why it deserves a special mention. Juno, a vampire on the brink of extinction, must drink pure blood to become human. He meets Minhyun, a pure-blooded human, but past traumas and rival vampire Haesu threaten their bond and Juno's chance at redemption. Joohyuk and Songmin are probably the closest in age gap in this entire list. Joohyuk is a teaching assistant at the university while Songmin is a second-year university student. But he has also just returned from the military and is older than the regular second-year students, so I think they are only a couple of years apart in age. Their relationship in this series is probably the hottest of them all, but it is also filled with the most misunderstandings because Joohyuk refuses to be straightforward with his feelings for Songmin, and Songmin is hell-bent on playing games with Joohyuk in order to attract him. They are both insanely attracted to each other though and cannot stay away from each other for too long. After returning to campus, Joohyuk has a fleeting romance with a stranger Songmin who disappears the next morning. Shocked and conflicted, Joohyuk soon discovers Songmin is actually his new class's enigmatic teaching assistant. Shi Jae and Fei Sheng-chae have a significant age gap and many found their relationship controversial, especially since Shi Jae is Sheng-chae's professor. But I really enjoyed their story. I loved how Sheng-chae brought back color into Shi Jae's otherwise black and white world. After his wife left, Shi Jae was clearly struggling raising his daughter alone, and having lost his passion for life, he was in a semi-depressed state. And that's when Shang-chae was the one who helped him rediscover joy and begin living again. Shi Jae, a divorced anthropology professor, is raising his 8-year-old daughter Yo-Yo on its own. After a fateful encounter with Fei Sheng-chae, the three slowly grow closer, eventually forming a touching and unconventional family full of warmth. Mingyang and Tanyan's relationship is incredibly layered and easily one of my favorite age gap dynamics from this list. Mingyang initially cares for Tanyan like a younger brother, especially since Tanyan reminds him so much, both in looks and spirit, of his own sibling who recently passed away. This resemblance complicates things, especially as Mingyang begins to develop deeper, more conflicted feelings for Tanyan. On the other hand, Tanyan has loved his Gae from the very beginning. He doesn't want to be seen as a replacement for Mingyang's late brother. He longs for something more. But Mingyang isn't sure if he's capable of giving that kind of love, even though he desperately wants to. It's truly a touching story and I want everyone to experience it. The legendary Chief Pufa and his undying love for weak-hearted Tien, who cannot resist the hot forest officer's charm. Chief Pufa and Tien is one of GMM most iconic duo and I keep thinking about them every few days. A Tale of Thousand Stars is such a nostalgic and comforting show for me, even though it's full of angst. Chief Pufa is probably in his 30s while Tien is in his early 20s, so definitely age gap relationship there. After receiving a heart transplant from a volunteer teacher Torfan, Tien discovers her diary and her dream to count 1,000 stars with Chief Pufa. Becoming a teacher himself, Tien sets out to fulfill her wish while unexpectedly falling for Pufa too. Pisan is about to be 100 years old while V is in his 20s. I love how grandpa-like San is with his old-school mentality and thoughts, but he cannot control his physical reaction when he's around V. He cannot accept that he's turning homo for V, but also cannot stop having wet dreams about him. It's hilarious to watch. This show overall is such a gem and I love how dramatic and Lacan style it is. San has waited a century for his lost love Vars to be reborn. With just 1 year left before a deadly curse claims him, he meets V, a carefree young man who turns out to be Vart's long-awaited reincarnation. Uncle Jim is 40 years old while Wen is in his 30s. I get why Earth keeps getting these middle-aged characters. It's because of that mature and brooding aura he radiates. Wen helps Jim overcome his fear of getting into serious relationships after he was betrayed by his ex, and Jim helps Wen rediscover the passion that he had lost in his previous relationship. I just love how realistic this show is, and it's painfully rare for GMM TV to produce something as real as this show. Jim, an ordinary guy running a Hainanese chicken rice diner, meets the carefree Wen one night after closing. Despite Jim's attempts to remain unattached, an undeniable connection forms between them and neither can stop thinking about each other. Sun and Morg's relationship is very underrated in the Thai BL fandom and I wonder why. They had one of the most heartfelt and realistic relationships out there, and also the characterization and portrayal was absolutely perfect. Sun is a cafe owner in his 30s while Morg is a university student in his 20s. At first, Sun dislikes Morg because Morg keeps involving his younger brother in risky situations. But as time passes, Sun realizes how vulnerable Morg is and that he needs guidance in his life. Sun is moving on from his unrequited love for Kao when Morg begins appearing more frequently. Despite Sun's attempts to keep Morg away, the younger man's wild behavior pulls him in. Gradually, their clashing turns into a mutual care and understanding. So these were my favorite older top and younger bottom series. Let me know similar couples in this trope in the comments so that I can make a part 2 of this video. Bye lovelies.